Hi.
Hey, all right, can you hear me?
Yeah, yeah.
All right, all right. We'll give it like a minute or two, let some more people join in, and then
Sounds good.
we'll get started then. Dude, I'm tired. Are you on the West Coast or East Coast right now?
I am in California, so it is like it's 11:30 here.
I'm also I'm in Seattle, so
Oh,
EST
really?
right now too. Yeah,
Oh,
it is
oh,
also 11:30 here.
nice.
It's weird getting used to this stuff.
Yeah, I mean, didn't really change for me, but
Yeah, you were there, so
no, it's so bad. When I come back to New Jersey, I like sleep at like disgusting times. It's so bad.
sleep at disgusting times in both time zones. That's usually what works for me.
Yeah.
All right. Um, all right, I think we can probably just go ahead and get started now.
Okay. Yeah.
If you want to, I guess, introduce yourself a little bit, your major, school, I guess, stuff like that.
Sure, yeah. So, hi everyone, I'm Sweta. I just finished my first year at Stanford, and I'm officially undeclared, but probably CS major, math minor, that kind of thing. Yeah.
All right. And I guess I'm Mehar. I'm rising junior, senior, one of the two at Georgia Tech. Um, am currently a CS major and not a minor yet, but we'll see. Yeah. So I guess anyone who's in the chat or whatever, if you have any questions throughout the whole thing, just send them our way. We'll probably answer them. But I guess to get started, we'll start a little bit about like the academic, I guess,
Mhm.
side of things. So you said you were an undeclared major for now. How does this sort of major process or declaration process work at Stanford?
Okay, yeah. So, I guess once you get into the university, you can pretty much do whatever major you want. There's not like well, I guess there are divisions like School of Engineering, and stuff like that, but you're not restricted to be within your school when you're declaring your major. And I guess like how it works every quarter when you sign up for classes, you can sign up for whatever classes you want, like in any area of the university. Um, and yeah, I think you only need to declare by the end of your sophomore year. And you can change it as many times as you want as long as you meet the requirements to graduate by the time you graduate. So it's really great in that like I can take whatever classes I want and it's not really restricted based on my major or like interests.
Yeah, I think Georgia Tech does a similar thing too, where you can technically
Mhm.
apply in for a major, but you can just switch whenever you want. Like I've had people in freshman classes be like a fifth year computer engineering, go like, nah, I'm switching to CS
Yeah.
and things like that. Um, I guess in terms of since like you start off undeclared, are there
Mhm.
actually hold on, let me rephrase that. Let me rephrase that. Do you have a lot of core classes or can you like come in with a lot of credits and take away a lot of those core classes?
So I guess like general requirements, the only classes that you like actually are required to take that are restricted are there's like a freshman writing class and like a sophomore writing slash like communications class called Power. And then there's also um, these other two classes that you take for 2 quarters your freshman year. Um, but other than that, you have these like broad categories called ways, and it's just like um, I think there's like social inquiry, like exploring difference in power. It's just like these broad categories that a lot of different classes can fulfill. So I guess the way that a lot of people go about choosing classes is like you don't really think about fulfilling these requirements. You just kind of take classes that are interesting, and usually it just works out. And maybe you're gonna have to think about it like here or there. So it's nice that we have broad categories. Like I took like a film class last quarter, and that's gonna fulfill one of my wage requirements. I don't even know which one, but it fulfills something. Um, so yeah, in terms of major, at least for the CS major, there are like core classes that you have to take, and then there's some electives that you also have to take. Um, but there's not really like a time requirement. You don't really need to take a certain class at a certain time. and you're not really forced into taking any particular humanities classes other than just the writing requirement.
That's pretty nice. Like,
Yeah, it's nice.
nice having a lot of that freedom because
Yeah.
I know for us, like you gotta take those language classes. You gotta take the social.
Oh wait. I saw someone ask a foreign language. You do have to take a foreign language requirement.
Do
You can get out of it by testing out of it or like getting a 5 on an AP or there's like some other requirement, but you have to take 1 year of a language basically. And I definitely did not take a language seriously in high school, so I do have to take it right now, but it's okay. I think it's honestly an interesting experience. It's not too bad. And you can take it credit, no credit too. So it's not like super stressful.
what language are you taking then?
I'm taking Spanish.
Oh, fair.
Yeah, I took Latin in high school, but I really like did
Oh,
not feel like continuing that. And also Spanish like seems kind of relevant, so it's like I think it would be fun, and it's not bad. It's a cool class.
okay, yeah. Taking Latin in high school and then taking Spanish is valid, but if you took Spanish like all through high school and then took Spanish again, that would have been pretty lame.
Yeah, no, if I took Spanish in high school, I probably could have passed out of it. I think like if you took the AP exam and got like a good enough score, or you can test out of it just like through entrance like stuff.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I know it's a not it's a pretty small school actually. How large are the class sizes at least like from the freshman class you've had so far?
Um, okay, so I guess overall student body, it's not like a massive student body, but a pretty significant like portion of Stanford is CS. So the CS core is like very large. So for context, like first quarter I took 106B, which is like one of the intro CS classes that like you start off with. And I think there were like 600, 700 people in that class. So like in general, yes, like the student body is small, but like a tenth of the student body takes a given CS class. Um, so Okay, so yeah, the core CS classes that are required for the major have been generally large, and it's been like lecture hall type classes. But there's also sections which are a lot smaller, maybe like I don't know, like 20 people. Um, but once you get into like the upper division classes, or honestly even just like math classes or like other subjects, any of like the upper classes that are not required for like broad requirements of majors are usually smaller, I've heard. But as of now, I've been mostly taking larger classes. Also, the writing class and the like required humanities class are like 20 people. So those are meant to be like discussion classes, like that are like smaller size.
Yeah, definitely. I think the way they do it for us is they have like the
Mhm.
right those we had like our CSS like 900 people or something like that. It was ridiculous. But
Yeah.
the language class at least they like split it up based on like topics or something like that. Like
Oh
you got to take
yeah.
like I don't know
Yeah.
female literature or something like that.
Yeah, so those are smaller. Like my film class was really small. My humanities like discussion class was pretty small. So those were like meant to be like interactive and like that. But the larger CS classes, you only get like interaction during section mostly because the lecture itself is pretty large.
Are there a lot of TAs then for sort of classes that big? Are there like nice TAs and stuff like that?
Yeah, so we have some classes have required sections, some just have like section where it's like practice. So you basically attend lecture where the professor like lectures all the topics, whatever. And then like once a week they hold like these practice sessions where they give you problems or like um, just like exercises. And those are pretty small and those are led by TAs and the TAs are pretty helpful. Um, so yeah, section is where you do more of like the interactive work for the core CS classes, I would say, and math from what I've seen.
All right, yeah, makes
Yeah.
sense. Do you feel like there's any sort of grade deflation, inflation type of thing, at least from what you've seen so far, or is it pretty standard? Like what grade you get, the grade you get.
Um, uh, there's definitely no deflation. Like as in there's no curving down, which is like really great. Um, I've heard that like in colleges where they curve down is kind of has like this competitive culture, but I feel like in general, Stanford's really collaborative. Like I don't think I've ever felt like I like needed to out like do someone on like an exam or something. Usually everyone studies together and like works together. So I think one thing that like they definitely don't do is round down. So if everyone gets an A, like raw, then everyone gets an A. Um, and they definitely round up a significant, like they curve up a significant amount if the median is low. So I don't think grades are really like that much of a stressor. I will say that there are other departments where I've heard grading is notorious, like chemistry specifically. I've heard some really rough things about that, but the CS department does not curve down, and usually the grades are curved up pretty significantly.
Have you had are there any sort of notorious weed out type of classes? Like I know for us, linear algebra, the first year is the weed out
Mhm.
course for a lot of people. Do you have a sort of thing there?
Okay, I'm gonna preface this by saying, like, I'm speaking in the context of, like, a CS major, like, I'm sure for pre-med, I'm sure there's, like, chemistry classes that are, like, considered weed out, but for CS specifically, and at least the classes that I've taken, I don't like, there's been classes that are known to be difficult, usually, like, the systems classes, like, 107 is an example, just, like, systems, it's, like, taught in C, and then you learn a little assembly and stuff, but I wouldn't say any class is considered like a weed out class. I don't think there's a culture of like trying to weed out the CS majors. It's definitely not a thing because like there's so many CS majors and like
Many
it's pretty like welcoming. I feel like there's been like poli sci majors in my CS classes just because they want to learn a little bit to like apply to their field. So I can't think of a class that's like known to be a weed out.
That's
So
good. That's
that's
good to
good.
know.
Yeah, like people
Yeah.
don't fail in masses, I don't think. Yeah.
There's very few classes that people fail in masses for us too.
Mhm.
Do you have any like? You said you took a lot of like there's a like, freedom of class and stuff like that. What are some of
Mhm.
like the most fun classes you've taken and what sort of fun things you've done in the class so far?
Yeah. Um, okay, that film class, I'll just talk about that one. That one was really cool. Although I don't think it's like a class that's offered all the time. Basically, okay, so there's a bunch of like humanities, like and like non-technical classes, like non-STEM classes that they just offer and you can just take it. So you can just browse through like the courses and just see whatever you like and take it. This particular class it's like an Indian film class. So we basically watched film from like different parts of India, and analyzed it like in the context of like caste, religion, sexuality. And I don't know, it was just like a really unique experience. I feel like um, considering most of the classes that I'm taking, not gonna lie, are very STEM, very CS, very math. So taking a break from that and like choosing to take a film class was very cool. Basically, we just watched one movie a week and then had like a discussion thing and then wrote a final paper based on like what we thought. And then the professor like lectured on concepts relating to like religion, caste, like different places of India. So it wasn't like your standard like Bollywood film. Um, so it was cool to just like look at different film industries within India and just like the different like niches within India.
Yeah,
That was
that's
cool.
pretty cool. So
Yeah.
wait, give me a second. I think my screen just turned black. I'm gonna restart and jump back
Yeah.
in. Please be back. All right, it's back. Thank goodness. I crashed like 30 minutes ago too, which blue screen me. It's terrible. But yeah,
Man.
that class sounds really cool. Like having the ability to actually like, specialize in like the Asian film and stuff like that's pretty cool. I've never
Yeah.
seen.
Also the people in that class, there's a lot of people who were film studies majors and like it's just totally different population than I would interact with if I was like, in my like math class or CS class. So it's definitely really cool to meet people who are interested in a lot of like different things that you might not have even thought to like just like thought about.
Yeah, I think we have like a required social studies type. I don't know what the
Hmm.
exact term is it, but social studies type class like credits that we need to take. And
Yeah.
I didn't. There wasn't actually any classes offered when I was like trying to schedule as a freshman because everything else was
Hmm.
taken. So I ended up being in like a 6 7 person like African American lecture, an African American
Yeah.
lecture for an entire semester, and that was probably the most unique experience I could say I've had in the class.
No, it's yeah, I know. I feel like if you just throw yourself into random things, like it can be really unique, really good.
I guess we'll answer some of these questions.
Hmm.
Stanford. All right. I guess you can talk a little about the quarter schedule that Stanford
Okay,
uses,
yeah.
right?
Yeah, at least like on the East Coast, I know a lot of it is semester, but we have quarter systems, which so we have fall, winter, spring, and then like summer is optional. Most people don't really take classes. So essentially like a trimester within the school year. I think it was really great. We basically have 10 weeks of like lecture classes and then 1 week of finals. So it's an 11-week period. Um, I like really like it because I think one, it allows me to like explore like classes that I might not otherwise because we literally take like another set of classes every year that you wouldn't otherwise, compared to other schools. Um, and so there's also less pressure in like picking classes, I think, because it's like, oh, worst case, I'll just be done with it in 11 weeks and take a different class if I didn't like it. Um, and so you just kind of fit in more stuff. And also, I think I like the 10-week time frame. Like sometimes like you go through the quarter and like towards the end it starts becoming like really like sloggy and you're like behind on lecture and like everything's like piling up. I feel like 10 weeks only allows you to pile up so much, which is a good thing. Um, like we have like midterms, sometimes we have like 2 or 3 midterms. So at that point you're having like tests like every 2 to 3 weeks, which puts less pressure on the test, even if it might not sound great. Um, so I feel like it kind of divides the year a little better and allows you to like reset more often and also just take more classes that you might just want to try out.
Is it's still like 4 years though, so do you guys just take more classes in general than like a semester class, like a semester type thing would do?
Yeah, exactly. So like we can play around with a lot more classes, take a lot more like niche classes. Like um I'm sure like the core stuff maybe it's divided just smaller so that you would still have to take the same amount of things. But like let's say you want to take like um I don't know, like a film class or like a specific niche within CS. Like there's like computer vision classes, stuff like that, that you might not wanna dedicate. You might think about it more if you only had 2 chances to select classes in 1 year, but now you can try out, like, more niche classes, both in STEM and humanities. So I think that's pretty nice about the quarter system. And also, it works really well with the breaks. Basically, after fall quarter, we get, um wait, yeah, right after fall quarter, we get winter break. Right after winter quarter, we get spring break, and then right after spring quarter, we get the summer. So we're never like studying during the breaks. The break is like actually a break.
Oh no, it's
So
nice.
spring break is like not cutting up our quarter. So we're done with classes, finish finals, and like can actually relax. So I really like that as well.
Yeah. For us, spring break is like the period right before finals. So it's like
That's
you're just
so
pretty
rough.
much you're
That's so
studying the
rough.
whole time. I hate it.
Yeah, no, I think yeah.
How long is your winter break then? Like when does it go for?
We get 3 weeks, I think. So um also, like, because we get, like, finals week, if your finals are over earlier, you get that you can just leave as soon as your finals are over, right? So, um, I think officially our finals ended on the 17th of December, and then we were back in school, like, the 7th, I think. But my finals ended, like, pretty early, so I actually got an extra, like, half a week. Um, so, yeah, I would say, like, 3 weeks, 3 that's, like, pretty standard, I think. And then spring break is, like, oh, I actually got, like, 2 weeks because my finals were really early, but usually it would be a
Damn,
week.
2
Yeah, it's
weeks.
nice.
I wish. Um, I guess going on, like moving on from the academic side of things,
Mhm.
we can talk about everyone's favorite freshman dorms. How was your dorming experience like your first year?
Okay, my experience was honestly pretty great. Basically, Stanford has, like, neighborhood systems, which basically means there's, like, clusters of dorms, that freshmen are randomly assigned to, and, like, as you go on, you can only choose dorms, like, within that cluster, within that neighborhood. Um, so my freshman dorm was, like, around 140 people, and we actually had a great, like, culture going, I feel like. It was very like, everyone kinda talked to everyone mostly, and obviously you weren't close to everyone, but I think we definitely had dorm culture. At a point, there was, like, a massive, like, foosball tournament, like, with everyone in our dorm, and, um, I think it was honestly pretty unique. My dorm is on West Campus, which is a little more, like, isolated from the other freshman dorms, so that also kinda pushed us to have our own, like, thing going. Also, we get funding, like, for our dorm. and our RAs can like just do like activities and like use the funding to do stuff. So like we went to ice skating once, like as a dorm. We went bowling. We went to Great America, which is like Six Flags kind of in the area. Some dorms go on like bigger trips, like Yosemite, Tahoe, stuff like that. Um, so I think they do try to foster a dorm community, but again, it's very specific to where you get placed and just the people there. So I got lucky enough to have like a really great dorm community, and like my closest friends right now are formed like in my dorm. Um, so yeah, it's been a good experience, I think.
That's kind of like the best dorm experience thing I've ever heard of in my entire life. That's that's
Yeah, it's pretty
amazing.
nice. Yeah, and like we have so it's like a little like house kind of thing. It's not like a really tall building because everything there is like very flat and like spread out.
Mhm.
So we have like two floors. We have two lounges. Um, and like once it hits like 10 p.m., like everyone's kind of like, or a lot of people are just like in the lounge, like chilling. People are like studying or like playing foosball or just like watching TV. It's like a nice vibe. Um, Again, that's, like, very specific to my experience. I know people who didn't have, like, as great dorm experiences, but you can find people in other places. It doesn't have to be, like, right in your dorm, but I was lucky enough to have a pretty solid experience.
Damn, damn. Do you have to, with your like sort of neighborhood thing, do you have to stay in the dorms for multiple years, or sort of like people generally stay in the dorms multiple years?
Yeah, it's standard for you to stay on campus all 4 years, pretty much. You're guaranteed housing for 4 years, and, honestly, it's really hard to find apartments in the area, and it's really expensive too, so it's kind of standard for everyone to stay in the dorms. Um, Again, like, so generally how housing works after freshman year, you choose your room like within your neighborhood, so the cluster of buildings that you got randomly assigned initially. Or you can choose like row housing, like the frats or like sororities, or there are theme houses, which some people found like really great communities in that. I wasn't like particularly interested in any of them. There's ethnic ones, which are, there's like there's like the Asian American house, and there's like a bunch of different ethnicities, like their houses, and there's also based on interest. So I think um there's like a sustainability and energy sustainability theme house. Um, I'm blanking on other ones, but there's also theme housing if you would like, and you can do that as a freshman too. But I just had a random freshman dorm.
Is Greek life a pretty big thing there for like frat and stuff like that?
It's not huge, like um, it's definitely a thing. Like people do if they want to, but there's definitely no pressure to join one, and like it's not like everyone rushes. Like only like yeah, there's definitely no pressure to rush. Um, the frats do throw parties like pretty often, but I wouldn't say they like dominate the school culture. Like it's definitely there's no pressure to join or like be associated with one. You can just like hang out with like your friends and like do other stuff. So I think it's just like up to you. You can make it a big thing for yourself if you want to, but you definitely don't have to.
That's very nice, yeah. Um, I think for us, it's like something ridiculous, like 40% of the student bodies in a frat or something, which is kind of
40?
ridiculous. Yeah, 40.
Oh, I have no idea what the stats are, but yeah, I don't.
Crazy.
I guess another thing to mention about frats, like you only rush spring quarter of freshman year. You can't rush earlier, so you definitely don't form your social life around the frats because you can't even do that until last quarter. So maybe I would change my answer if you asked me that next year, like when people are actually living in the frats. But like as of now, rushing was the last quarter. So I didn't even like be on campus for enough time to see the effects of like people going to frats like that I know of. So
Yeah,
definitely a focus on like finding your community first and then joining a frat slash sorority if you want to later.
that's pretty cool. How big is the campus in general? Like, is it a smaller campus? Can you like walk to everywhere?
Pretty much everyone has a bike, which I guess is unique. There's a huge biking culture. Like I think like literally everyone has a bike except like some people who have scooters instead. Um, it just it's like so it's very bikeable. I can probably get from one end to the other in like 10 minutes. Um, but like walking would take like probably 30, 40.
Mm.
But yeah, everyone has a bike. Um, like bikes definitely get right of way. Like people who walk are kind of not really relevant. Like they have to wait for the bikes. It's not the other way around. Um, which is also nice because like the weather's nice. So when you're biking and like you like feel the breeze, it's just like a nicer experience than walking. Like I can't imagine like speed walking to class if I was late, but like speed biking is actually like kind of fun.
Is it like always nice weather there, or is it like there's still like some cold spells or something like that?
So we actually had a pretty rainy winter. Actually, I think it was like one of the rainiest in like a decade or decades or something. Um, it was a very rainy winter. So like I was going to my like midterms and finals just like drenched. But like again, like I feel like when New Jersey's the standard, like when New Jersey sets a bar for me, it's so nice. Like I would say even in the winter, like it doesn't rain super hard. Like we don't get like thunderstorms really. And even like right now in like the summer, it's not that hot. It's like it's always like this mild kind of like 60 to 70 to 80 kind of temperature. And it's like dry heat. So it's not you don't like feel really musty. So I would
Yeah.
say like generally the weather is very nice. It's never humid. We also just like have a drought, so it has its own problem. But oh yeah, but because of the really rainy winter, our lake filled up. We have like this lake, like my dorm is literally my uh like dining hall is called Lakeside Dining, but we just had a pit in the ground for so long. It was just hay. It was just like brown like grass. Um, but yeah, because of the winter, the lake filled up and that like totally changed the environment. It was so nice after that. Like just at night when you're just like walking around the lake, it's like really cool. But okay, during the winters though, at night it does get kind of cold, which again for New Jersey standards is not bad at all. But when it's like 50 and you're like biking, you do feel it and like it gets in your face and it's like cold. But again, I would say it's definitely one of the better weathers in the US.
Yeah, I think after New Jersey, anything is pretty much good at that
Yeah.
point.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna take some time to answer some of these questions.
Hmm.
All right, what would you say makes Stanford unique from other colleges? That's a hard one.
Yeah, that's really broad. Um,
I guess you can take in terms of like culture-wise, like what you sort of
okay.
experience with the people there.
I can tell you what I like about the culture, yeah. Again, I like don't like I can't really compare directly to another college, but I'll just say what I like about Stanford culture. Um, it feels like um, I don't know. I feel like everyone has like things that they're interested in. Like it's really cool to meet. Okay, for context, like I feel like in high school, everyone kind of did the same thing, low key. Like it was very, um, at least like our high school, right? It was like very
Yeah.
STEM, very like, everyone was either like pre-med or CS or like there was definitely not a lot of diversity in thought, I would say. Whereas coming to Stanford, there's so many people of like so many different backgrounds. Um, and like so many interests. People are interested in just like random things. So because my friends are around my dorm, I feel like I get to experience like their interests as well. Obviously, a huge percent is CS, so it's not like it's not a tech university. Um, but there are people who are interested in like again like film studies, like East Asian studies. Um, like people are going to law school, people want to go to med school. Obviously, people do CS. Um, People have niches within CS, which honestly was like a little new to me. People were interested in very specific things within CS or just like had a lot of different interests. And that's like one thing. I think just meeting a lot of people who like a lot of different things was very cool. Um, and two, just like the collaboration, I really like that. Um, I like literally never once felt like I was competing against anyone. All our classes are not down curved, and there's definitely not the pressure of like trying to beat someone else. So like at any point in the night, like you can go into the lounge and like see people studying, and like everyone's asking people for like help, or if you took a class one quarter, you help the people in the next quarter. So especially like in my dorm, there's a very very collaborative culture. Um, so that was also very nice. Um, yeah. So I think yeah, those two things, like meeting people who like a lot of different things, just like hobbies and academic wise, and also just a very, very collaborative culture, which is very nice.
Do you feel like you have a sort of balance with between like you're having your fun, you're having the sort of college experience and the academics at Stanford?
Yeah, definitely. In terms of like workload, you can totally define it. There's a lot of flexibility in choosing it. You can come in wanting to take like all the hardest classes you can, and you can very much take very difficult classes. Like, I'm not gonna undersell that. There are some very difficult classes that you could take, but like, let's say like you're just burnt out, or even if you're not, right? Like, you can choose to just take a chill quarter, and there's no like stigma against that at all. Like, sometimes people will decide like, oh, this quarter I'm just gonna take like chill classes just to satisfy like general requirements. Like, you can take like social dance, you can take rock climbing. Like, those are hard classes to get into, I will say, but um you can just like take random courses, and it's like fun. Like, people are like, whoa, like what's that? Or like, what are you doing now? Like, what is this class about? And it's a very like, yeah, there's a lot of flexibility. I think personally, like, going into college wanted to prioritize um like just like getting adjusted, and just like, like getting adjusted to location, like the new environment and everything. So either anyway, so I definitely took classes that I think I thought I could handle comfortably, and it did pay off. So, like, when the weekends or, like, Fridays come, like, I try to prioritize going out or just, like, hanging out with friends, and not just being, like, bogged down by work. Um, so I definitely do think I have a pretty good balance going on, at least, like, a lot better than in high school. I think it's easier to do that in college because you're just living with all your friends, and you can just, like, do whatever you want, literally whenever. Um So yeah, even in my hardest quarters and like during my hardest workloads, I did definitely have a lot of fun. So that's been good.
All right, okay. I give up.
No,
Um,
you're good. I was just saying I do think I have a balance. Like, even during my hardest workloads, like winter quarter was probably definitely was my hardest workload, just in terms of the classes that I took, but I had a lot of really good memories from winter quarter as well. So definitely prioritizing balance, and that's something that like you just have a lot of flexibility with. If I wanted to, I could like live in the engineering building and not go out at all, but I don't. So that's been good.
yeah. What are, I guess, some of the sort of clubs or stuff like that that you're into that you feel like you really like having that new sort of experience in?
Yeah. Um, okay, so I don't think I like committed myself to a club fully. Freshman year, I was just kind of trying out different things, seeing what I might be into, and probably next year I do want to be a little more involved in like the club scene. Um, but I did try out random things like, oh my God, I joined the Dragon Boat Club. So we just,
Rolling?
yeah, yeah, yeah. It's like dragon boat, so it's like rowing, but like on one side, and like we just go to practices in this a lake that's like close by, and sometimes we have like socials like boba and like hot pot and like stuff like that. Um, and then they have like workouts like during the week as well sometimes, and it's like super chill, honestly, considering that they do compete. And I was not like very committed at all. Like, I did not put in the effort that like maybe would have been nice, but that's just something that I tried out, and it honestly was super fun. I met some cool people who were like very interested in Dragon Boat and like actually were like super into it, and also some very new people who just like didn't try it out. Like, I literally just walking in the club fair, and then they were like, "Hey, like, try this out." I was like, "I don't know what that is." And they're like, "That's okay, we'll teach you." And I just joined. So, honestly, I think next year I will try to, like, be a little more regular with it. I went to a few practices here and there, a few workouts, and it was honestly really fun. So, that's another random thing that I was into. What else? I, um They have, like, a women in computer science club. I wasn't super involved with that. Again, another one that I would like to be more involved next year. Um, I just went to one of their, like, socials just to, like, meet people, and that was fun. Um, Clubs. I don't know, some people are really invested in clubs. Like, some people are, like, very, very into their club, like, wanna do leadership. I, like, didn't prioritize that as much this year. Um, but there's, like, some, like, entrepreneurship clubs, some, like, CS clubs that I know are, like, pretty popular. Um But yeah, again, totally up to you. There's no pressure to be super invested in a club. I think also because I found a lot of my friends within my dorm, I wasn't like putting that pressure to find a club community because I already had that within my dorm. But I know some people in other dorms who didn't like find that immediately with their dorm and just like invested a lot in a club and found really good communities there. So I think
Yeah.
it's just experience dependent, but Dragon Boat was fun.
I think like freshman year, the best thing is definitely to like just try out every club. I think I joined the
Yeah.
boxing club for a little bit. Like I went to a few boxing practices. That was pretty
Oh,
fun. Like
that's
there's
so
like a
cool.
whole there's like a boxing like thing at like our local at our gym. That was pretty cool.
Hmm.
And there's just like a bunch
Yeah.
of different like random. You don't even have to like commit. You can just go to one off. Like I went to like the
Yeah,
aerospace
you
club
really
for
don't have
once.
to commit.
Yeah, like
That's
no
another
one
thing that I think is
cares.
really, yeah, that's also, like, really great in that you don't have to, okay, there's some clubs you have to apply for and, like, try out for, but there's so many clubs that you absolutely don't have to, and even the ones that you have to try out for, a lot of them are very open to new people. Um, so, yeah, that has been cool. Um, yeah.
I guess like outside of the sort of club sort of things, what are some of the typical things you do for fun? Because I don't really know what's around Stanford besides just like big tech companies.
Yeah. Okay. I guess that's like one of the things that people kind of like say is a draw, like kind of just a negative. They call it like the Stanford bubble, where like we're kind of just a lot of it's kind of hard to get off campus, just because I don't know, campus is pretty big, and also like you kind of need a car to go in the area. But okay, I'll give you some examples of some stuff we've done, right? Obviously, like going to SF is one thing that I think everyone does. I think I've went like twice, or I think I've went 3 times this year. It's like 40 minutes away by drive, or you can take Caltrain. And it's just like a city. You can do whatever you want. Go to Chinatown, go to like Golden Gate. Um, there's like viewpoints that were like because it's the mountains, right? You can like go up and like see the city, and it's really cool. Um, like that's like been SF. I've been to Half Moon Bay, which is like a beach close by. Um, been again like through our dorm, been like ice skating, bowling, um, that kind of stuff. There's a lot of like nice restaurants in the area. You do have to get like a little off campus. Like there's basically this like long road. There's like our campus, and then there's like a mile of like a useless road that you just need to go past. So, and then once you get there, it's like Palo Alto, and there's some really good restaurants there. So we've gotten like ice cream, been out to eat. Um, yeah, I mean, I guess like it hasn't been too much of a negative that we're not in a city. There's a lot of really great like hiking and like naturey things to do. You just need a car, and so I'll probably do more of that next year when more people have cars because most freshmen don't really have cars. Um, but yeah, I would say a lot of like outdoorsy things are around. It's just like it's really pretty. Like there's a lot of like mountains and trees and stuff. And then obviously just like the basic like going to the movies or like going bowling, going ice skating. Those are fun. But also you don't really need to have like a city to do this stuff, you know? Like there was one day we were just in the lounge just like working, right? And then we all just were like, all right, we don't want to work right now. So then we just went to main quad, which is like the main like area of Stanford, and just played Manhunt for like an hour. and, and so I don't know. And then again, like the foosball tournament we did, like there's a lot of random things that you can just do if you just hang out with people that are cool and think of things to do. Um, so yeah, I would say that's probably like one of the only negative things I can think of where you're not integrated with a city or you're not like in a like college town, so you don't have like walkable things to do all the time. But a lot of people zip car, which is like a rental car thing for like hourly, and just like go places. So there's definitely things to do. I know some people who like really plan things to do, and they're like at a different mountain every weekend. Um, there's like Yosemite and Tahoe if you want to drive like 3 hours. But if you plan things and if you're really into outdoors things, there's a lot of things to do, especially.
Yeah, I think like this summer, I was actually choosing between either if I want to go to Palo Alto or if I wanted to go to Seattle. And I chose
Yeah.
Seattle, not for any reason really. I just chose Seattle,
Yeah.
and I can definitely see this whole sort of thing where it's like you need a car to get to the areas that are 2.5 hour, 3 hour away, but there's just things to do everywhere. And I've been one of the people
Mhm.
who's been going to a different mountain every weekend, but that's just
Yeah.
because I wanted to. Yeah, it's been
No,
pretty
that's
fun.
so cool. It's just gonna require a little more planning. I would love to be that person. I would need to take the effort to like get a car and like go places. Where like usually my weekends are kind of just like spontaneous, like just like wing it. Like I don't really plan too far in advance about what I want to do. But
Yeah.
yeah, no, there's definitely things to do. I think it's more of just like who you hang out with and like what kinds of stuff like you want to do as a group. I feel like it's more defined by like just the people than like the actual activities in the area.
Yeah, I know. Like at Georgia Tech, there's not really much mountains there to do. You're just kind of like winging it. Whatever you want to do, you want to do.
Yeah.
I guess I never actually asked about this, but how is the food, the sort of dining hall situation at Stanford?
I think everyone likes to complain about their food. I don't think I've heard anyone say that they love their dining hall food. I really don't think it's like terrible, which I'm gonna get a lot of like, I'm gonna, like people are gonna hate on me for saying that, but um, like okay, I feel like you're gonna get bored of your dining hall food. Like you're not gonna get over that and just like always be excited to eat your food. But I think there's like healthy enough options and there's like fresh enough options. Um, like it's like good enough, you know? Like
Good enough.
I'm not like I'm not uh, like I'm not gonna get off the plan and start cooking because I'm like so upset by the food. Like I'm gonna eat it because it's there and I don't have to cook it. Um, I don't think it's like that bad. Although it sometimes it does get bland and um there is one dining hall on campus though that's like really good or like pretty solid. Like we had like ube and like matcha ice cream, and it was like
Damn.
so good. But that dining hall has like massive lines all the time. Like our dining hall opens at 5. You have to be there like 4:45 to not have to wait 40 minutes in line. But sometimes if you're feeling it, you just like bike over there and just kind of eat that food. It's pretty solid. Like that's the dining hall that everyone thinks is like good food. It's like actually like really good food. Um, everywhere else it's like edible, I would say. And
Edible.
honestly, not terrible. But there's some days where you like really just don't want to eat the food. Just like it's not it. But I don't know. I feel like it could be worse, but it could also be a lot better.
Do you see yourself ever joining the leave the dining plan and cooking like group of people or no?
Um, wait, I'm not even sure if we can leave the dining hall. I mean, the dining plan.
Really?
I'm not even sure about that. Um, I know some people. There's like co-ops where it's like it's not Greek life, but it's like this house type thing where like you have to cook the stuff on your own. So it's just like it's like a house,
Hmm.
and you just cook your own stuff and just like function like adults in your house. But I think I don't know. School gets busy. I feel like I wouldn't really prioritize cooking that much. Like there are like cafes around campus, and there's like like Panda and like Curry Up Now and like Subway.
And that
So
is
if you're
so
if you're
clutch.
yeah if you're like really just want something else, then I guess you just like get food from there. But yeah, also I have not eaten dining hall food in a while, so I don't feel too terribly about it in my head right now. But there were times I just really did not want to eat my dining hall food.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like for us, it's a lot of times it's like borderline inedible. So like
Okay.
I quickly joined the apartment and cooking on our own group of people. On
Oh,
my sophomore year, like I started that,
mhm.
so it's pretty
Yeah.
rough.
I mean, it's like the summer now, so I'm cooking like kind of, and I don't know. It's like it takes effort.
It is a lot of effort.
Yeah.
What are you up to in the summer right now? Like the reason for being in California?
Oh yeah, I'm interning at Apple actually. So I am
Ooh,
living in Mountain View and working in Cupertino. So
chilling.
yeah.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Um, let's see. There's a few more questions here. Hold on. I gotta scroll up a little bit. Oh, the classic. What are some extracurriculars that you think or recommendations you would give to people to get into colleges?
Bro, I actually just have no idea. Like I feel like you probably experienced the same thing, right? Like everyone's like,
Yeah,
"Oh, how like what did you do?" It's actually a mystery. Like I don't know, man.
yeah.
Wait, I'm trying to think of if I can say anything helpful. Um, everything I can think of is like either basic or just not helpful. Like, okay, I'm gonna be so honest. Like, I feel like the when you're like in high, like, you should think about like what you want to do in your life, right? Like,
Mhm,
and that would craft itself into a good college application. Like I felt the same like pressure like in high school, right? But
mhm.
like I don't know. There's only so much you can do. I feel like just like push yourself, like explore different things, like get involved in different like I don't know, like clubs or activities or whatever that like interest you. Like thinking back, like yeah, I like did a like I was like I pushed myself a lot in high school, but I also only did things that I liked. Like I can't think of anything I did in high school that like I put on my college app that I didn't like. I didn't do
Mhm.
anything like for the application, even if like at the time I felt pressured because of the application. Um, so yeah, I don't know. I feel like just like explore whatever you're interested in deeply. Reach out to people just like for opportunities or just like I don't know. And like
Yeah.
the thing is, okay, wait, for sure, like you shouldn't do things like you're gonna feel the pressure for the application. But again, like I'm glad I didn't do anything just for the application that I didn't like because it's the stuff that I did in high school that like shaped my interest now, right? So like, if I just did things purely for college, then now that I'm in, like, what am I gonna do with that, right? Like, it
Yeah.
adds no value to my life because I didn't like, if I didn't like it, right? So, at least no matter what happens in terms of college, you're gonna end up at some you're gonna, like, be out of high school at some point, and then whatever you did in high school is gonna shape your interest at the point. So just make sure it's something that actually excites you and, like, you can use in the future like like, interests you in the future as well. Like, you don't want to be working towards something that no one knows how exactly to get into and then like either get in or not get in and then just like lose all motivation because you don't know what you're doing at that point, right?
Yeah.
So I would say that's like my advice in general.
Yeah. I would say that's probably like the biggest thing. Like if you do stuff for the college app, you're just not gonna have fun and not know what to
You're also
do
probably
after.
gonna not like it, like if you
Yeah,
do it
just
purely
not
for
like
the
it.
college. Yeah, so I guess like you're gonna, I mean the pressure's there, you're just gonna have to accept it. But or like I don't know, like I don't really have advice on how to deal with the pressure, but um
Yeah.
I was definitely like try to do things that interest you. Even if, like, it feels like it's for the application.
Mhm.
Like, even though I did things that interested me, like, once I got into college, like, there was just so many more things to explore that I was like, "I don't even know what I'm doing," even though, like, I already, like, had some interests, right? So, I don't know, just give yourself, like, the opportunity to just explore things.
Yeah. And I think like especially like freshman year when you like first go into like that club fair for the first time, you see like everything that people are interested in. It's
Yeah.
crazy the amount of things that
Uh-huh.
go on that you had just no idea existed.
Yeah,
Like
like,
I
I
think
didn't do Dragon Boat in high school. I just winged it.
I didn't know that competitive ballroom dancing was an actual thing. Like that's an actual like world of like sport or something like that.
No, yeah, I have friends that are like competitive dancers, and I was like, or I don't even no, I don't think they're competitive actually, but they're like super into it. And I was like, I didn't even know of these different styles of dances. Like, I did not
Yeah.
know they were different. Like, you just I don't know. It's like really interesting what people are into.
Yeah. And then there's like people who are into like creating programming language or something like that, even the niche CS stuff, like that's all stuff that's like foreign to me, but it's pretty cool to see
Yeah,
people's
yeah,
interests.
yeah. People come from like all kinds of interests, so that's another thing. Just like a lot of learning in college is just like from what other people are doing. Like you find out someone's doing it, and like some of the clubs I want to join next year just because my friends are doing it. So I'm just like, hey, that seems pretty cool. I want to do that.
What are
So
some like things you're
yeah.
excited to join next year or look into next year in those clubs?
Oh my God, I've been thinking about it. I was like, I actually need to sit down and like make a list because I just like think of things and then I'm like, this is not gonna happen realistically. Like I can't do all of this. Okay, so I this is actually good exercise for me right now. um, I feel like so okay, one of my friends is in this, or I have like friends in this thing called Common Origins, which is this like dance group, but it's like no audition. You just go to workshops and then perform. So
Oh,
like it seems like kind of fun, and I've seen like her dances, and it's like pretty fun. I might go to like some workshops and like do that. I might want to be more committed to Dragon Boat because it was actually fun. I just so to go to practice, it's like 10 a.m. Sunday, and I just never woke
ooh.
up in time. Um, so I might prioritize that more because they were genuinely cool people, and like it was just a cool activity, and it's nice to just like go off campus to like a lake. Um, I think I might want to be more involved in like the women in computer science thing. There's like I don't know, there's like cool people in the program, and like they have socials and random stuff. That's just like for fun. Uh, oh, I'm in like the Wind Symphony right now, like the Stanford Wind Symphony.
Oh,
I
I've
might
actually
continue
continued
that
with
as
it.
well. I did continue with it. Oh, there's like a Carnatic music group on campus that I just have not been involved in because I didn't bring my violin last year, but I would like to continue with next year. Because I finally brought my violin over past security and everything. It was like kind of a pain. But so that I might want to be more involved in. I already named like 6 things, but yeah.
No, I get that same thing. Like, I didn't. With the instrument side of things, I didn't actually. So I didn't continue after I left marching band. I think it was like sophomore year. I didn't really continue with percussion
Hmm.
much, even though I've been doing it for a
Hmm.
while. And then just this last like spring semester, I bought an electric drum set, and I've been trying to practice on that and playing with that.
Oh,
Yeah,
fun.
so
Yeah.
that's been pretty cool, and I've been trying to like start that up because it's just been like I've noticed this weird thing where you would think college gets harder the longer you're in there, but in my
Hmm.
opinion, it sort of gets easier. Like the way once you like get used to the hang of things, you start getting to higher level classes. It's more just long term projects, and you're left a lot of time to just do anything you want, which is pretty cool for me.
Yeah, I think it's more of just like getting used to the flow of things. Like I think fall was just chaotic. Fall was definitely felt like the longest quarter. Um, and then especially since like once like friends started settling in and just like activities started settling in, I think you just like get the hang of things a little bit more, just like how you work, how you like working and stuff. So I think yeah, that'll give me more time to explore like what clubs I might want to fully commit myself to next year. I'm just on so many mailing lists, bro. Like I went to the club fair and I never exited out of them. Oh my god, I want to do. That was another one I thought of. I keep getting emails from the swim club. They like compete and stuff, but they also is just like have practices that you can go even if you don't know how to swim. And like I used to swim a little in like middle school, but I just like haven't in a while. And I feel like this weather is perfect for swimming. I feel like I need to take advantage of the fact that the pool is like across my dorm. So oh, I want to rock
You didn't
climb
get enough of
too. I want
the
to do that too.
rock climbing too.
Yeah.
I feel like rock climbing is the classic like new tech thing.
Yeah.
You just gotta go
It's
bouldering or
so
something like that.
no, it's such a big thing here that I didn't even know was like a hobby that people had. Like I did not come in knowing that people did it. So I went to the rock wall like a few weeks ago, like when I was on campus. Again, across my dorm, literally across. So I feel like I need to take advantage of it. But I went and I was like, oh, like let me just try it out. It's so hard. I can't
So
get
hard.
past level like 1. There's level 0 and level 1. I can do like all the level 0s. I can do like maybe half of the level 1s. There's people that are like climbing upside down, like holding on to their grip strength is literally
Like they go with like
insane.
two fingers and they're holding onto their
Just
entire
like
body.
holding on, like pull
Yeah,
up with like the tips of your fingers. It's insane.
yeah.
But
I
yeah, it's actually like pretty fun. I feel like I would like it if I was a little better.
like you're gonna be like jacked if you do rope like both the dragon boat and rock climbing. Like you're gonna have like backs muscles for
Yeah.
days, pretty
Yeah.
much.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah, I got lucky. The gym is like across the street from me. I have absolutely
oh,
no
that's
excuses.
so nice.
No excuses.
For us, it's like a mile across campus. It's not the greatest.
Do you walk everywhere?
Yeah, I walk everywhere.
Yeah.
I most people like bird scooter or something like that, but I just walk everywhere because I don't know, got to get steps in or
Hmm.
something like that.
Yeah.
Um, all right, what is this one? Oh, do you constantly update? Oh, it's just more like a life question, I guess. Do you constantly update your resume as you add new things?
My resume? I have not touched my resume since like a career fair in the beginning of the year. I actually don't really. I should probably update like my LinkedIn. I don't. I think my LinkedIn says like South Brunswick High School. I don't even think it says Stanford on there. I have. It's really not that deep unless you're trying to get a job. And like when
Yeah,
I was like applying for things, like then I updated my resume and like I would like talk to people. But um, I don't know. I mean, it's not like that much to think about. It's just like if you want to get some, like you want to get a job, you want to get something that you need to talk to people, then you update your resume. I'm not really thinking about my resume when I'm like doing this stuff. Yeah,
yeah. Like
I'm just kind of
when I'm joining like rock climbing club, I'm not thinking of putting that on my resume. I'm just like, is the one
Oh,
I'm like
definitely
actually.
not. Like level zero rock climbing. No. Again, like I feel like this is the kind of yeah. I mean, uh, in high school, I definitely do think that like every time you did an activity, like it would be in the back of your head of just like. Well, it was also in the middle of college apps. So I feel like it made sense to think about putting stuff on your resume, but no, I have not thought about my resume in a long
Yeah,
time. Which is good.
for me, it's like a 2 week process. Like right when applications start, all right, I'll start thinking of my resume. After it's done, all right, just cycle it back. I'll come back next year and just see if I need to add anything.
Yeah, because like no one's gonna. I mean, I don't know. I'm not giving my resume to anyone right now. Like I'm just in the middle of my. I just finished college. I just like in my internship. Like
Yeah,
no one really cares.
exactly.
Same thing
Um,
about grades. It takes the pressure off when you like literally no one cares is gonna look at my grades. Like I
yeah,
don't know. Maybe I'll go to grad school, but like it's not something that's like nagging at me of like I need to get this GPA or like I need to like get something.
yeah. For me,
Yeah.
I took that fear out of it because I was just with Georgia Tech. You can do like your BS like in your masters at like the same time almost. So I was
Hmm.
like, I don't really even need to apply for anything. I'm just if I want to do a master's, I'm just gonna add an extra year or just like take like an extra semester and then finish that up here. So it's like a lot of the
Yeah.
fear of grades and stuff is like taken away from it, and it's really
Yeah,
nice to have.
we have a program like that too. It's called like a coaching program. You basically can add a year or like sometimes two, I guess, and get a master's as well. And I think it's dependent on your major that you want to get a master's in, but for CS it's so easy. I've heard it's like very straightforward. It's a very straightforward process. You don't need to take any of like the exams or anything that's associated with it. So um
Mhm.
that's something that a lot of people do. I haven't thought about it like too deeply, but I don't know. There's a pretty good chance I want to do that as well. Um, so yeah.
Yeah. For me, it's like I would have just left in 3 years otherwise. So now I'm just gonna make it 4 years total and just add an extra because I don't
Oh,
want to leave.
nice.
Yeah, I don't want to leave
Yeah.
early. Why would I want to go like
Yeah.
be more of an adult? And,
Yeah. Why do you want to be more of an adult? Why do I want to cook even more, you know?
yeah, exactly.
Oh my God, cook
Um,
and clean and do dishes.
it's so like we cooked pretty much every day for like 2 semesters straight, and we're gonna keep
Oh,
doing
right.
that.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
Wow.
crazy.
No, this is like the first time I'm cooking in a while. No, not in a while, probably in my life. Like I have not like cared to cook. Um, so yeah, I was literally on FaceTime with my parents like yesterday, and they were like, "Okay, cut this onion, like
Yes.
cut this tomato," and I was like, "Okay."
How much of this do I put in? How long do I have to put this in the microwave for? Like, how do I make rice? Oh
Yeah,
god, it's a whole struggle.
yeah, I'm learning.
Learning as you go. I think that's probably the greatest part of internships, learning how to just stay on your own for like a month and two
Just like
months.
adult, yeah.
Yeah.
I was like that was like one thing I was afraid to I was like not afraid, but I was like a little hesitant to come so far. I think honestly most of my life I thought I would go to college like driving distance from New Jersey, but I feel like just independence wise I've like grown so much in the past year. Just like going from like living at home and like being literally at home all the time to like being like 2,500 miles away.
Yeah.
So it's been good. It's a good experience.
It's really nice. Yeah. Um, I think that's most of the questions. I think. Unless there's any. Oh wait, I just got one. Okay, logistically, I guess.
Mhm.
What's the nearest airport to Stanford?
Oh, I usually fly into SFO, like the San Francisco
Mhm.
airport. You can also fly into Oakland, um, or like there's one in like San Jose, but I think that's like a local one. I don't really think there's like long distance. Well, I don't really know. I don't fly into there. But yeah, I almost always go to SF and sometimes Oakland. Just so convenient. Being in Central Jersey, oh my God, I can go to Newark, I can go to Philly, I can go to like JFK if I really need to. So there's no shortage of flights, especially because it's like New York area to like Silicon Valley area. It's
Yeah.
so convenient. Um,
You don't get like the maximum convenience. So we get Frontier flights from Atlanta to Trenton for $30 or 20
Oh,
bucks
no, no,
even.
no. I've heard we don't compare. No, no, no. Okay, it's expensive. I will say that. It's expensive, but there's not like a shortage.
Yeah,
But no,
yeah.
I've heard so many good things about like G Tech to like
It's
Central
so
Jersey. Oh my
nice.
God. That's cheaper than you can get to New York. Like the train to New York is like 35.
It's cheaper, like it's infinitely cheaper than even trying to drive the distance if you wanted to.
Oh yeah, you can't drive. I've heard of people driving like 44 hours like across the country. I like could not imagine.
I've seen
Yeah,
like New Jersey and Florida cars here in Seattle that people drove to get to the internship
that's
for.
insane to me.
Yeah, I don't
That's
understand that.
crazy. Yeah.
All right, I think that's pretty much about time and all the questions that we had. Thank you so much for coming out here and talking to everyone. And
Yeah.
it was great getting to see you again.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, see ya and see everyone later too.